the highest fruit of concentration and the spiritual accomplishment, transcending concentration. A. Important results and limitations of concentration. The development of concentration becomes increasingly refined. The state of mind of a person who has reached attainment concentration, appanna samadhi, is referred to as jhana, absorption, of which there are many levels. The higher is the level of jhana, the fewer are the remaining mental factors or attributes determining each level. Jhana Nuga. States of jhana are generally classified into two main groups, and each group is further divided into 4 subgroups, resulting in 8 levels. These are referred to as the 8 jhanas or the 8 concentrative attainments, samapatti. 1. 4 fine material jhanas, rupa jhana. 1. First jhana, patama jhana, containing 5 factors: initial application of thought, vitaka; sustained application of thought, vichara; bliss, piti; joy, sukha; and one-pointedness, ekagata. 2. Second jhana, dutiya jhana, containing 3 factors: bliss, piti, joy, sukha; and one-pointedness, ekagata. 3. Third jhana, tatiya jhana, containing 2 factors: joy, sukha, and one-pointedness, ekagata. 4. Fourth jhana, katuta jhana, containing 2 factors: equanimity, upekkha, and one-pointedness, ekagata. 2. 4 formless jhanas, arupa jhana. 1. Awareness of infinite space, akasananchayatana. 2. Awareness of infinite consciousness, vinyananchayatana. 3. Awareness of the sphere of nothingness, kincanyayatana. 4. To enter the state of neither perception nor non-perception, neva sanya na sanyayatana, in which one ceases to focus on anything at all. In the Abhidhamma, especially in the post-canonical sub-commentaries to the Abhidhamma, the fine material jhanas are usually divided into 5 levels. These 5 are derived from the original group of 4 jhanas. A new second jhana is inserted between the original first and second jhanas. This new jhana contains 4 factors: sustained application, vichara; bliss, piti; joy, sukha; and one-pointedness, ekagata. In other words, it is a jhana which has sustained application of thought but no initial application. The original second jhana is shifted to the position of third jhana. The original third is shifted to fourth, and the fourth is shifted to fifth jhana, respectively. Students of Buddhism should therefore not be confused or surprised when they encounter the terms jhana panchaka naya, panchaka jhana, and panchama jhana. They should realize that this group of 5 stems from the original group of 4. The scriptures refer to any method of determined effort for developing concentration in order to generate these aforementioned attainments as tranquility, meditation, samatha. The efforts by unawakened persons to develop concentration can lead no further than to the 8 concentrative attainments mentioned above. The highest attainment possible by way of tranquility meditation is thus the state of neither perception nor non-perception. Those individuals who have realized the fruits of both tranquility and insight meditation, samatha and vipassana, who are either non-returners or arahants, are able to reach a ninth, supremely refined state called cessation of perception and feeling, Janya Vedayita Nirodha, or the attainment of cessation, Nirodha Samapatti. However vital concentration is for spiritual practice and for reaching liberation, which is the final goal of Buddhism, its importance is limited, as can be explained as follows. The importance of concentration for the practice of liberation is determined by the relationship between concentration and wisdom, that is, to make the mind fit for work. Moreover, the concentration required for the optimal functioning of wisdom does not need to be of the most refined level. Although concentration may be developed to the highest level of jhana, if it is not integrated into the development of wisdom, there is absolutely no way for concentration alone to lead to the highest goal of Buddhism. Although the 8 levels of jhana are extremely refined states of mind, if they are solely the results of tranquility meditation, they are still mundane phenomena and should not be confused with the goal of Buddhism. In states of jhana resulting from tranquility meditation, mental defilements, kilesa, are allayed, and therefore these states are also referred to as a form of liberation. This liberation, however, is only temporary, existing for as long as a person remains in that state of concentration. It is uncertain and subject to regression. The scriptures thus refer to this form of liberation as mundane liberation, lokya vimoka, unstable liberation, kupa vimoka, and liberation through suppression, vikambana vimoka. Defilements are allayed through suppression by concentration, similar to placing a stone on grass. When the stone is removed, the grass can sprout again. From the preceding observations, we can see that in Buddhist practice, the crucial and decisive factor is wisdom. The wisdom used at this final stage of practice is referred to specifically as insight vipassana. Therefore, for spiritual practice to be truly effective, it must reach the stage of insight. Concentration is a vital factor for making the mind fit for work, yet there is some flexibility regarding this factor. One can apply different levels of concentration, beginning with initial levels like insight concentration, vipassana samadhi, existing at the same level as momentary concentration, khanika samadhi, or access concentration, upachara samadhi. Although one's spiritual practice must be endowed with all 8 factors of the Noble Eightfold Path in order to reach the highest goal of Buddhism, it is possible to divide the specific methods of concentration applied in this context to 2 main ways of practice. 1. The method of one who uses insight as a vehicle, vipassana yanika. This method emphasizes mindfulness and was referred to earlier in the section on right mindfulness. Here only an initial level of concentration is applied, just enough as is necessary as an aid for practice. Mindfulness is the principal factor used for holding or binding the object of attention, and as a preparation for wisdom to then investigate it. Such a person is sometimes referred to more specifically as one who practices pure insight as a vehicle. Shuddha Vipassana Yanika. Tranquility samatha plays a role here as well, but it is not emphasized. 2. The method of one who uses tranquility as a vehicle, samatha yanika. This method emphasizes concentration, which plays the pivotal role. One develops concentration until the mind is calm and refined, leading to states of absorption, jhana, or to concentrative attainment, samapatti. The mind becomes absorbed in and firmly established on the object of attention, to the point that the mind is automatically primed to engage in activity. The mind is malleable, ready, and optimally suited for a chosen task. In such a state of mind, the mental defilements and tense, which normally disturb and afflict the mind, are temporarily stilled. This is similar to silt, which settles at the bottom of a pond when the water is still. In such a case, a person can see through the water clearly. This state of mind is excellently suited for advancing to the stage of applying wisdom, in which mental sediment can be eliminated completely. Methods of practice bringing about such unification of mind are referred to as tranquility meditation, samatha. If one does not stop at the second method, one advances to the stage of wisdom, of insight vipassana, in which mental defilements and mental taints are completely removed. This is similar to method number 1 above, but technically the task is now easier because the mind is prepared. This method is thus complete, containing both calm samatha and insight vipassana. In reference to persons who are awakened through these two methods of practice, a person who is awakened by following the first method is called a panya vimutta, one liberated solely through wisdom. Strictly speaking, such a person is called a dry insight practitioner, sukha vipassaka, whose concentration reaches the level of jhana at the moment of attaining the path, magga. Within the classification of Panya-Vimutta, a dry insight practitioner is considered the lowest or the last of such individuals. Someone awakened by the second method is called a Ubhato-Bhaga-Vimutta, one liberated both ways, i.e. liberated by way of concentrative attainments and liberated by way of the noble path, Ariya Magga. The second method, which utilizes the complete system of tranquility meditation before developing insight, which leads to being liberated both ways, contains important attributes. A person who practices this method often obtains exceptional abilities springing from concentrative attainments, especially the abilities referred to as the 6 higher psychic attainments, abhinya. 1. Edi Vida, psychic powers. 2. Diba Sota, divine ear, clairaudience. 3. Cheto Pariyatnana, telepathy, mind reading. 4. Diba Chaku or Kutupapatayana, divine eye, clairvoyance, knowledge of the passing away and rebirth of beings according to their karma. 5. Pibeni wa sanusati, recollection of past lives. 6. Sawakayayana, knowledge of the destruction of the taints, asava. A person who is awakened by way of the first method only obtains the knowledge of the destruction of the taints, not the other higher psychic attainments. A person who practices the second method must complete both stages of development. Although the practice of tranquility leads to absorption and higher concentrative attainments, If it does not advance to the stage of insight, or is not combined with insight practice, it is impossible for it to lead to the final goal of Buddhism. B. Supporting factors for concentration. Many factors are involved in the development of concentration. Some act as a foundation for concentration to arise, while others act as support for generating concentration and as an aid for bringing it to completion and achieving higher goals like the development of insight. Some of these factors are found in numerous contexts, making them seem redundant. Effort vidya, for example, is a road to success, ed pada, a spiritual power, bala, a spiritual faculty, indriya, and an enlightenment factor, bojjhanga. One should understand that these factors are classified in different groups according to their properties and functions. For instance, effort is a road to success in circumstances when it is the main power behind accomplishing a particular deed. It is a spiritual power when it acts as a protective force, preventing opposing qualities from overwhelming and endangering the mind. It is a spiritual faculty when it governs proceedings, acting to eliminate antagonistic unwholesome qualities like laziness, discouragement, and indifference, and to generate a readiness for action. It is an enlightenment factor when, in association with other factors and in an interconnected process, it leads to realization of the truth. 1. The basis, proximate cause, and goal of concentration. Virtuous conduct, sila, is the basis for concentration. As the first step in the threefold training, it supports the arising of concentration in the same way that it supports the whole of spiritual practice. This is confirmed by the Buddha's teaching, which Venerable Buddhaghosa uses as an opening quote to explain the gist of the Visuddhimagga in its entirety. A learned monk, well established in virtue, developing the mind and wisdom, one who is ardent and sagacious, he can disentangle this tangle. The Buddha said that a person well established in moral conduct, sila, will succeed in spiritual practice, regardless of whether one labels this practice as the Eightfold Path, the 7 factors of enlightenment, the 4 foundations of mindfulness, or the 4 right efforts. This is similar to how people rely on the earth as a foundation on which to work, or to how all creatures depend on the earth for support while standing, walking, sitting, and lying down. Generally speaking, moral conduct refers to virtuous behavior and to refraining from causing harm or distress to anyone. Immoral conduct creates affliction and turmoil for the doer, along with a lack of self-confidence. It is a thorn which pierces the heart and prevents a person from being completely peaceful. As for additional levels of moral conduct, these depend on moral codes adopted by individuals to help guide their lives. Because, for example, practice according to the principles of restraint contained in the Vinaya. Beyond moral conduct, the prominent supporting forces in spiritual practice, which the Buddha mentioned frequently, are heedfulness, appamada, the presence of a virtuous friend, kalyana-mitta, and wise reflection, yoniso manasikara. Moral conduct acts as a foundation for concentration, but it bears fruit indirectly or from a distance. The commentators claim that the true immediate condition giving rise to concentration is happiness, sukha, and they thus state that happiness is the proximate cause for concentration. To prevent misunderstandings, note that states of mind warranting the title of samadhi must at least at initial stages be accompanied by happiness. As stated earlier, the objective of concentration is knowledge and vision according to reality, yata buddha yana dasana. As the Buddha said, a person with a concentrated mind knows and sees according to the truth. Samahito yata buddhang pajanati. This means that concentration is the domain of practice for wisdom. It promotes the development and fulfillment of wisdom. In any case, in regard to the interconnectedness between factors of the path, wisdom, right view, is the compass needle or the provider of light, allowing the other path factors to progress in the right direction. Wisdom development thus supports the development of concentration. For instance, the clearer is one's discernment of things, the greater is one's confidence, and the more powerful one's concentration. These two vital factors, concentration and wisdom, are thus mutually supportive and interdependent. A person lacking in wisdom has no concentrative absorption. A person lacking in concentrative absorption has no wisdom. Indeed, a person possessing both concentrative absorption and wisdom abides close to Nibbana. When describing a particular spiritual quality, the commentaries generally explain it by examining various aspects. For example, attribute, lakkhana, function, rasa, appearance, pachupattana, visible effects, and proximate cause, padatana. In this context, the commentators state that the attribute of concentration is non-distraction. Its function is the elimination of mental distraction or the gathering together of accompanying factors, sahajata dhamma. Its visible effects are non-wavering, tranquility and knowledge, jnana of the truth, and its proximate cause is happiness. 2. Accompanying factors of concentration. As mentioned above, firmly established concentration is called attainment concentration, appanna samadhi. When the mind attains this level of concentration, it enters what is called concentrative absorption, jhana. In jhana, concentration, also referred to as one-pointedness, ekagata, is always accompanied by a certain number of accompanying factors. There are several levels of jhana. 4 levels according to the original suttas of the Pali Canon, or 5 levels according to the interpretation of the Abhidhamma. The higher the level of jhana, the more refined it is. As mentioned in an earlier section, the higher the level of refinement, the fewer are the accompanying factors. The regular accompanying factors of jhana, including the factor of concentration, samadhi or ekagata, are called jhana factors, jhananga. In total there are 6: initial mental application, vitakka; sustained mental application, vichara; rapture, piti; happiness, sukha; equanimity, upekkha; and one-pointedness, ekagata. A summary of these 6 factors is as follows. 1. Initial mental application, vitakka, thinking, to fix one's mind on an object, to set one's attention to an object. This factor is present in the first jhana. 2. Sustained mental application, vichara, reflection, to embrace, sustain, and be immersed in an object of attention. This factor is present in the first jhana and in the second jhana according to the 5 jhanas of the Abhidhamma. These 2 factors of fixing and sustaining attention are linked. This is similar to a person who polishes a tarnished bronze vessel. Vitakka is like the hand which grasps the vessel. Vichara is like the hand holding a brush and polishing the vessel. Another simile is to a potter. Vitakka is like the hand which presses down on the clay. Vichara is like the hand which molds the pot. 3. Bliss, piti, delight, rapture, contentment. Here this term refers specifically to bliss permeating the entire body. It is also called all-pervasive rapture, prana piti. Bliss is present in the first and second jhanas, and in jhanas 1, 2, and 3 of the group of 5 jhanas. 4. Happiness, sukha, joy, refreshment, ease, an absence of mental distress and agitation. This factor is present in the first 3 levels of jhana, or the first 4 levels in the group of 5. The distinction between bliss and happiness can cause confusion for some people. Piti here refers to the delight in acquiring a desired sense object. Sukha, on the other hand, refers to the pleasure of experiencing this sense object. Take, for example, a person wandering in a desert, hot, thirsty, and exhausted. He discovers an oasis surrounded by shady trees, or he meets someone who tells him that such an oasis lies nearby. He then goes to this oasis, drinks, and rests to his heart's content. The delight in seeing or hearing of the oasis is called piti, while the satisfaction of drinking and finding relief is sukha. 5. Equanimity, upekkha, detachment, looking on with dispassion, to observe phenomena peacefully, to observe arising phenomena without falling into partisanship. In the case of jhana, this means to not be attached even to the exceptional pleasure of jhana. On a higher level, upekkha refers to an equanimity when everything falls into place or reaches completion. One no longer busily searches for results, especially in the case of the 4th jhana, which is completely free of harmful mental qualities. One needs not make the effort to eliminate these qualities. This factor is specific to the 4th jhana, the 5th jhana in the group of 5. Equanimity in fact exists at all stages of jhana, but it is not pronounced in the early stages. It is still suppressed by unfavorable factors like initial mental application, sustained application, and feelings of pleasure. This is similar to the moon during the daytime. It is not clear or bright because of the dominant light of the sun. In the 4th jhana, the unfavorable factors are stilled and one enters nighttime. One is supported by neutral feelings, upekkha vedana, or adukkham sukha vedana. Equanimity is pure, clear, and bright, and it purifies and brightens accompanying factors like mindfulness. 6. One-pointedness, ekaggata, one-pointed attention. This is precisely the factor of concentration, samadhi. It is present at all levels of jhana. One thing that needs to be reiterated is that although the so-called jhana factors are constant to specific levels of jhana and help to distinguish which level of jhana has been reached, it does not mean that these are the only factors present in jhana. Although they are not used to distinguish various levels of jhana, many other accompanying factors, sampayutta dhamma, exist, like perception, sanya, intention, cetana, enthusiasm, chanda, effort, virya, mindfulness, sati, and reflection, manasikara. Some of these factors always accompany states of jhana, while some are occasionally in attendance. The descriptions in the Sutta Pitaka of different stages of jhana often emphasize distinctive factors. For example, in the context of the 3rd jhana, mindfulness and clear comprehension are emphasized. Although these factors are present in the first 2 jhanas, their role is more pronounced in the 3rd jhana. In the 4th jhana, an emphasis is made on the clarity and purity of mindfulness, which is supported by pure equanimity, Accompanying factors likewise are sharpened by equanimity. This material here helps to prevent the misunderstanding that jhana is a state of non-awareness, a form of trance, fading away, or absorption into some other reality. The Visuddhimagga cites the Petakopadesa, which states that the 5 jhana factors arising along with attainment, concentration, and the realization of the first jhana are adversaries to the 5 hindrances, resulting in 5 pairs of opposing qualities. Initial mental application is the foe of sloth and torpor. Sustained mental application is the foe of doubt. Bliss is the foe of ill will. Happiness is the foe of restlessness and worry. And concentration or one-pointedness is the foe of sensual desire. When these jhana factors arise, they dispel the 5 hindrances, and when they are present, they prevent the hindrances from resurfacing. On the contrary, if the 5 hindrances exercise influence over the mind, the jhana factors cannot function. In any case, according to the Buddha, the 7 factors of enlightenment, bojjhanga, are the direct adversaries to the 5 hindrances, a subject which will be discussed below.